All right, welcome in everybody. Hey, we just gonna jump right into it. We sitting here talking about head coaching moves that are happening right now with James Franklin taking the Virginia Tech job. We're talking about the revamp that needs to happen in the ACC as far as coaching and how a lot of these coaches can move around. I know Sean, you were saying just now that people are trying to find the new Kurt that's out there, that young up and coming guy. So I
No,
mean,
the guy in Indiana. The guy in Indiana.
yeah. The guy in Indiana,
Yeah.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. What you thinking?
Well, you're where we are right now is you're trying to find. Well, there's a lot of things you're trying to find, but you got to find a head coach that is currently successful in the NIL transfer portal era. Okay. And there's a few of these guys that's out there that's doing that at a very high clip. And there's some young guys like the guy at Tulane, the guy at Arizona State. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, you got a crop of coaches that's out here. But I really think that, man, the Southeastern Conference, the conference is so tough. If I'm a young coach, do I want to take a big swing going into the SEC right now, or do I want to, start,
Get some traction somewhere.
get some traction somewhere and then work my way in? You know what I'm saying? Because I honestly believe buyouts are going to ultimately end up going away. I don't think that's going to be a part of our culture moving forward. So it's going to get back to wins and losses at some particular point in time. And that's what it is now. But as far as the money is concerned, but I firmly believe that some of these coaches are going to take some shots on some younger guys that they can pay less money to, no buyout to, and give them a chance. But if that don't help the win-loss record out, you know what I'm saying? It's like, what are we doing? I still do not see the crop of top-tier coaches out there like that. Kirby Smart ain't going nowhere. Dan Lanning ain't going nowhere. The guys that are already where they want to be, they ain't going nowhere. So you have to find the next Curt Cignetti. How do you do it? I have no idea, but I have to believe that these schools are spending money on firms and this and that. People trying to break down analytics, trying to figure out what made him successful, because you cannot compare Nick Saban to anything that's going on right now. So he's no longer a blueprint. Saban's not. You gotta find a brand new blueprint. You know what I'm saying? And it looks like it's Curt Cignetti at Indiana, honestly. You know what I'm saying? But I don't know. It's a wild place we in right now. What you think about it, Drew?
I think that one thing we just way too premature with a lot of coaches right now. I think there's nobody that's truly getting it done.
Yeah.
Really, I mean, if you really want to put the rubber to the road, you really got three coaches that's really say they got it done. And that's my biggest thing. So even in we talk about Lane Kiffin stuff, like I was listening to sports radio this morning, they were just talking about Lane Kiffin as he's such this great head coach, and every team would just be so fantastic to have him. I'm like, what has he truly done at Ole Miss?
Yeah.
I'm like, how many SEC championship has he had? How many national championship has he had? They're like, he's ready to go to this next step of. They were talking about being Steve Spurrier today on Sportsman. Like, I'm like, calm down, calm down. So I truly feel like, yes, Sean, you are right, and guys are trying to find the people like Kirk Cinetti and guys like that could just be program builders long term through it all. But I think for young coaches, I think they have to take it. They have to strike while the iron's hot. Like, I feel like college football is going to change so much in the next 3 years. You better get in one of these schools good spots before it runs out. Because I fear that right now you got two sides of college football. The coach that's been in their school for a long time and they want to stay comfortable and they want to stay safe and they want to stay secure. And then you got those coaches that are ready to take the chance. I feel like it's going to be a flip to where a lot of these coaches that have been secure are going to end up being like, you know what, we got to go somewhere and take a chance because I need this national championship on my record. I need this conference championship on my record to be that legacy guy. And I think that's what coaches are ultimately going for. So I think right now we're trying to play safe while we don't know what's going on with NIL, don't know what's going on with the transfer portal, don't know what's going on with the future college football. But as soon as we find out and this stuff gets solidified, man, a lot of these coaching jobs are going to get solidified for the next couple of years. It's going to be maybe you might not be able to get a big school like Penn State for maybe 5 to 7 years from now. And I'm a 32-year-old, 35-year-old now, but I'm an old guy by the time that comes back open again. And you will always, to me, be in a position where if I go big, I can fall short later on, like James Franklin. I hate to say him as that type of guy, but Virginia Tech is a downgrade from Penn State. He was always going to be able to downgrade out of school as long as he gets to a place where he can do the same thing he just did and still be considered a great coach. That's the difference. I think that's
Yeah.
truly what we're dealing with right now and why teams are hesitant by really pulling the trigger this early because they're saying maybe somebody in 2 weeks, 3 weeks from now are going to be available to have this conversation with. But it's really interesting.
Yeah, and to me, I think the downfall of where everything is right now is because everybody wants the immediate success. Everybody wants to be like, hey, I'm a hire a guy, give him a year, and then after a year, hey, it's time to go and go make the college football playoff. And it kind of circles back to what Eli Drinkwitz was saying. I don't know if it was last week or whatnot, saying, all right, this idea that it's playoffs or bust has got to like everything else is null and void and nothing else matters anymore type of mentality. But if you're going for these young guys and these up and coming coaches, how can you bring them in to these programs that have been established in college football for so long, like a Florida, like a LSU, so on and so forth, and say, hey, we need immediate success. You got 3 years to get it right, or else you right back on the hot seat again. Like it's not giving time to build your culture, get your guys in the building, learn what you want to do, And I understand what you're saying, Sean, as far as money wise, you don't got to pay as much, and that could help also because while you're not giving these giant contracts to these head coaches, you're saving some money to be able to go spend on coordinators at that point to just say, hey, now we've got a group of guys that's coming in and doing stuff. But at the same time, it's just like how quick are you making that turnaround be? Like where's your grace period, so to speak, for guys that may be the G5 guy coming up to the Power Four big name school and expecting them to do everything day one. To me that just kind of seems a little backwards, but that's the state that it's in right now.
Yeah, man. Listen, that's where we are. And one thing on Kiffin, one thing that I think is hurting him um, is his past. You know what I'm saying? Me personally, I talk a lot about Kiffin being a more mature coach than he was, but I do think we have to really go back to when he was the head coach at Tennessee and look back at how he left that situation. Then he went to Vegas. Then Saban gave him an olive branch. He had to fire him in the playoffs. You know what I'm saying? And Sark had, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like did that like the guys got some baggage. You know what I'm saying? And from what I understand, and this comes from good sourcing, and you can probably Google this, but and I don't know if Saban has really gone on record for this, but people have said that Saban, when he was getting ready to leave Alabama, uh, he was asked about Kiffin, and he said no. He said, "Please don't do that." You know what I'm saying? So I think Lane is dealing. He's still dealing with a little bit of his past, and I think he may still be trying to outrun that a little bit. Somebody is going to give him an opportunity, and it very well might be LSU. They may be in a state to where they have to do this with Lane to get wins on the board because they are LSU. But do I think Lane's a more mature coach? Yes, but we're talking about so much money, so much investment at such a high profile school. I really don't think that LSU or Florida can make a mistake on their next hire. I really don't. At the state of college football the way it is right now, they really cannot. So, where does that leave you? You know what I'm saying? If you're the AD, I don't know. I don't have the answer, but it's just a lot. You know what I'm saying?
It truly depends, though. I think to answer that question, Sean, you can make a mistake depending on if you wanted to win a national championship or you're just making the playoff satisfactory.
Right.
That's the true question because you got to think there's going to be really 7 teams this year. I think that we can say when the playoffs start, it will be like these 7 teams truly have a shot to win the national championship, and there's going to be a couple of teams that's going to be like, we're just happy to be in the playoffs, to get an extra game and stuff like that. But I think everything you said about Lane Kiffin, I think it just makes him the perfect candidate for LSU.
It does.
I think
Yeah.
I'm like out of the last 48 hours, the road trips with the family and all the stuff you've been hearing about that. Florida's really the one that won the road trip duel over LSU. It's kind of like I get it, but to me, it's like Florida and Ole Miss are the same thing. Like it's the same organization. It's the same thing today. It's either like I'm gonna that's a level platform.
Right.
LSU, I was listening to sports radio this morning. It was like he might be there for 5 years. That might be the greatest 5 years of his coaching career. And then he could say, you know what, I can leave LSU on a bad term. I'm still going to get picked up by some other SEC
Somebody.
school. That's middle of the pack. I can be there for 5 years. I can build them to be a double-digit win team per year, fighting for the SEC championship, fighting for a playoff spot. And I mean, I lose 2 games at the wrong times of the season, and I miss it. That's what he's done. And that's who he has been. I'm like, he's never done anything great without being with another great coach. So it's like you almost got to be so careful with it. But I'm hearing LSU talk about Ed Orgeron. I'm like,
Mm-mm.
we're talking about teams that can make a mistake. That is a mistake. That's
Mhm.
a 2, 3 year project. And what are we doing? Putting the reset button. It's just my biggest thing with Lane Kiffin and Ole Miss and why I think he should not stay is just because if you haven't got it done by now, I just don't know when it's going to happen.
Yeah.
He's never going to get Ole Miss to the point where they're above Texas in the aspect of just name brand, Bama or LSU. Really, don't let Auburn get a good coach because you're really not going to be able to beat Auburn as a name brand.
Sleeping giant.
Right? You're really in the aspect of like that Tennessee, Auburn, Ole Miss, that type of realm. You'll never be a Georgia. You'll never be a Bama. You'll never be a LSU. You'll never be a Texas in the SEC. So that's like stage front of like just saying you're never going to be these type of guys unless you win multiple championships.
Mm-hmm. And you know what? You just said some, man. Okay, question. I'm gonna ask Van. I'm gonna ask you the question.
Mhm.
This is what coach would you take? Would you take Kalen DeBoer or Dabo Sweeney?
Kalen DeBoer.
Kalen DeBoer or Steve Sarkisian?
Tough one.
DeBoer. Only because, real quick, DeBoer has
Explain.
proven that he'll win the big games, where it's the opposite for Sharp. Sharp's gonna win the games he's supposed to, but in the big games is where he drops the ball.
All right,
It's
we get
yeah.
we get real tough now. Kalen DeBoer or Marcus Freeman at Alabama.
I gotta go Kalen DeBoer.
No, hey, Jay Drew, your boy, a Debo fan.
Honestly, just because of Notre Dame. And it's
Right,
what we said in the past about Notre Dame, about Marcus Freeman and
right,
whether he would leave or whatnot. Because when you're sitting there at Notre Dame,
right,
you're gonna lose 2 to 3 games a season. It's probably gonna be your defining ones. Like this year was Miami, all of
right.
that, so on and so forth. They lost to A&M by a point, so on and so forth. And guess where they sitting at? In the playoffs.
Ahead of Alabama, Drew. Why? Is
In the
Notre Dame ahead
playoffs.
of Alabama?
They in the playoffs.
But
So like I said,
y'all gotta think that's only this week's projections.
True.
Notre Dame is really to me at the highest point they'll be for the rest of the season.
yeah, they're not gonna drop it. They'll go maybe to 7.
They don't play
If
nobody.
that. They won't get a bye. They will never get a bye. But they're gonna be there in that next group that's behind there though.
And unless they do something stupid by winning that third game, which you've been saying all season, you got to win that third. You got to lose that third game to
Yeah,
be fully eliminated. They're sitting at one of them guys waiting to get a first round road game, which is going to be significant.
yeah. What I was gonna say, I was saying, but yeah, their last 2 games are Syracuse and at Stanford.
Right.
Syracuse will be interesting.
But they on their fourth string quarterback.
Right, yeah, but they just got the tenacity and they got a head coach that's will have their boys ready week in, week out.
Mm-hmm.
He
So
talking
I'm trying to pull up
before.
the polls real quick. Hold on.
But
Yeah.
Sean, go back to your point though, Sean. Putting
Yeah.
Kevin and Freeman up together. If Freeman was at Bama, I might choose him over Debo. I've got a lot of
Me too.
we haven't got about this Oklahoma game yet. We're gonna talk about it later, but I got a
Yeah,
lot of question marks when it really comes to Debo and just aspects of. I feel like after Georgia game last year, he didn't have nothing to pull out of his sleeve, and I feel like that's what he got. That's what he's at right now. I feel like we might have seen the best Bama can put on the field when it comes to Debo, and I feel like with Marcus Freeman, he has a bigger motivation factor than Debo. I feel like Debo got to
Yeah.
show his ass on the field to really get his team fired up. And
motivated, right, right. Got
man,
to punch it there,
I
gonna
feel
go
like a
for
lot of this stuff is super solid. Like I'm so tired of seeing him come out the tunnel all like he just got dang. I was trying to think of the right wrestler to input in this moment. Put any wrestler at that
it.
moment.
Right.
Just has as an interest. I'm just like, you know what?
Yeah.
That's a
He
little
just
gas stuff to go out
he
there.
just he just an awkward dude, man. Like, I mean, we could get into it. I mean, the thing that stood out to me was I thought the running game improved significantly with Hill. When
Yeah.
I say significantly, I'm talking about coming from nothing to a little bit of like,
No, I think significant is the part. I think in that third quarter, he really showed that we got some. I can
yeah,
really lean on these boys if I want to.
yeah. And the difference is, and this is not a knock on Jan Miller. We've seen was it Le'Veon Bell for the Steelers, man. He would get that hand off and he would sit there and dance behind that line and he would wait. He found his hole and he would go. I'm not knocking his style, but
Mhm.
it just seems like Hill is just a little more effective because he just hits the hole and he goes.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, just very simply put,
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
240. So I mean,
He hard to bring down and he got a
he's
little
got he's
speed
got an
too.
amazing first cut. He's got a really amazing first cut, and I've been really preaching for him for a while.
Yeah.
And just saying we got to get away from Jam Miller. I understand the aspect of seniority, and that's what our running back room's been for so long. But in that game against Oklahoma, man, I was talking so much junk this week to certain people, man, online about what this game was going to be, and I didn't believe Oklahoma was going to beat Bama. I truly didn't believe it. I was like, I hear
They
all the
didn't.
I didn't think
Bama beat Bama.
I didn't
Yeah.
think I didn't think the hype was something that people really should be following up after. But I thought Bama got to a point where they just looked like coming out in that second half, third quarter, fourth quarter, when it was really time to win that game, they didn't have anything left in the tank. And I was like, you know what?
Mm-mm.
That's coaching. I was like, Ty
Mm-hmm.
Simpson, his only fault in that game, I feel like, is he drops back way too far. And I saw it a couple times against other teams, but those first two sacks in the first quarter, which I think made Bama panic a little too much, was his fault of just dropping back 10 to 15 yards. Like you giving your tight end, you're not giving your tackles any really chance to win that matchup when you dropping back that far. And that's why they're able to get that arm. That's why they're able to grab you by your shoulders and make fumbles and stuff like that. Like it's just not the way it was just set up for this team was just like, we can beat them by just quick over the middle stuff.
Right.
Mesh combos, quick crossing combos, quick stuff like that. And I was like, Oklahoma didn't look like they were just that much better. I feel like
Oh.
just shot that Bama was just looking that bad. And I was like, God, dog, after Ryan Williams fumble, I was like, yeah,
Yeah, he was doing too much. I mean, and now that you mentioned those deep drops, that's something that you actually work on in practice. You know what I'm saying? That's something that you watch film, you see an aggressive defensive line, or you see a situation where you got a coach that, like last week, is going to send some exotic pressures at you. You don't know where it's coming from, when it's coming, whatever the case may be, trying to trip you up. Understanding that you get Ty Simpson on platform, that's how you win the game.
right.
Maybe they saw that on film and said, hey, maybe we should go ahead and make this drop, give it let's go seven, from a 5 to a 7 step. But you're right. We do want to have some time for these in-cutting routes to come open and come available or whatever. But, there's no reason to put yourself 7 to 10 yards behind the line of scrimmage on any offensive play before it
Right.
starts. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
And it was just a lot of different things in that game. Just watching, I was just like, yeah, this doesn't like the Bama I've seen. And to be honest with you, maybe it was the Bama I've seen because I've seen Bama the last 3 to 4 weeks kind of look like, you know what? There's another level to be gained here.
Mm-hmm.
And they just have not yet shown they're going to make that step. And Ty Simpson is a great college quarterback, but he's more like an AJ McCarron to me. As soon as you make him off platform or speed him up, it just doesn't gel as much And I think with that type of front seven that Oklahoma brought to Tuscaloosa, You just ran into a couple different troubles and put 3 turnovers on that game, and that's what it was. You give them 17 points on turnovers, you're gonna lose a lot of those games in the SEC, and that's just what Debo is as a coach right now. It's like when things are going downhill, can I put the brakes on it and get us back focused by making a couple adjustments to keep things going forward? So, in aspects of asking the question of why is Notre Dame ahead of Bama, it's truly because Notre Dame, as we've seen, the best they can be. Bama, we still got more on that bone to really tear off of there and really say that, you know what, this team is a full course meal in that aspect. So I think Bama right now, to me, I think they are perfectly placed in the aspect of, with another loss to another SEC team, we're going to be the SEC championship. And I think we got a lot of things coming forward for us. But I think Bama will be, I hate to say it, a road playoff team. They're going to be on the road first round. And I think they got the talent to win that game.
Yeah. Yeah. What you think, man?
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I'm looking at the rankings right now, and you look at these other SEC teams and what they have still in front of them. Like I said, you've got A&M, you've got Georgia, Ole Miss, Oklahoma, and Bama, which I think honestly, if Oklahoma and Bama don't lose another game, and whoever goes to the SEC championship game, you might be looking at a situation where you got a minimum 4 SEC teams in the playoff.
But what's the SEC ranking right now?
The SEC rankings?
Yeah, just like who's looking to be the top 2 teams right now, SEC championship.
Hold on,
Texas,
I'll tell you.
Texas A&M,
and Bama right now. I think it's A&M and Bama. Bama just has one conference loss, and Georgia has their conference loss, but that's 2 Bamas, so that's the tiebreaker is
correct. And then you got Ole Miss still sitting there at 1, so I don't know what they're.
But Ole Miss will be over. I think Ole Miss will be over Bama.
Yeah, I think it's.
Those
I
two.
think it's A&M and then Ole Miss and then Bama.
Yeah, my thing. I don't know who will get there between Ole Miss and Bama because they're both sitting there at 1 loss to the SEC.
It makes more sense if Bama did not go to the SEC championship game. You know what I'm saying? I just don't.
You're flirting with being out of the playoff
because of Florida State. Because of Florida State, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I don't care how you lose the game; it's a 3rd loss, and the committee has not put a 3-loss team in yet.
Yep.
And
Florida State just looks so trash since that first loss. You really can see.
Bro, they so terrible, man.
They're about to get him up out of there too. That's gonna be another opening.
He should have been going at the last season.
Yeah, he got. And look, and watch goddamn Florida State call Dion.
Oh, you got to. If you're Florida State, you got
to make the phone call. You know what I'm saying? But no, man. Like I said, I think Bama, like you said, Drew, Bama has the ingredients to actually play for the national championship. I can't say win it, play for it. I believe they can get there. If and a lot of teams can say that, but we've seen the flashes. Like they've got the pieces there. It's not like Arizona State last year. It's kind of like, wow, they got to catch lightning in a bottle. Bama don't have to catch lightning in a bottle. They just got to play better. You know what I'm saying? To get there and potentially win it all. You know what I'm saying? They've already beaten Georgia once on the road. I mean, they can do it. It's just whether the coaching staff is solid enough week to week during the playoffs to get it done like that. From what I can tell, my mom texted me after the Bama game and she was like, "Are you off the floor yet?" I said, "I was off the floor this time last year." I said, "Bama's lost 5 games in 2 years." I said, there was a point in time to where Nick Saban didn't lose 5 games in 5 years. So I mean, I'm getting used to this now.
The same thing too after this loss. I was just like, you know what, man. I saw this crazy scenario going back to the coaching carousel that was like a name that people aren't, well, vice versa. The school that people aren't really talking about for Lane Kiffin is a school that doesn't have a coaching job open yet. And it was talking about Bama.
Okay.
If Kalen DeBoer goes his 2nd season in a row without making the playoffs, if that scenario actually turns out, where it's like we go to the SEC championship and we lose against Texas A&M for our 3rd loss of the season and we don't make the playoffs again, could Debo be in the aspect of where he would take another job, not get fired?
He might
take another job. Just you know what? This type of pressure is just not for me. I'd rather go to Penn State and do the same type of offense I'm doing now with this.
He'd be great at Penn State. He'd be great at the Big Ten.
You took the words out of my mouth. I think the call will be made down there. It's
Yeah,
like a scapegoat option.
which in that aspect, I would not be mad because I think right now for LSU fans, man, with the way the season is going, you're probably some of the happiest fans out there and just saying, you know what, the most serious coach is going to choose LSU. The most serious coach to win a national championship is going to choose LSU because, like you said, Van, if it's a win now situation and I got to go in
Yeah.
the portal between now and August of next season, LSU could probably be the most successful school with the right coach and the right message. LSU, with a lot of their coaches and a lot of different programs, have been that risky school to get a lot of risky players, a lot of risky coaching staff. And they just have, I mean, they got crazy talent. They just need somebody to put it together. But if Bama would have opened up, Bama at this point would probably get the best coach to be available anywhere.
You could take a coach from somewhere if you Bama.
Pros,
You could.
college, anything. They probably would have the number one choice. When Nick Saban retired, it was like you said, and Sean, multiple times, it can't be that guy to follow Nick Saban. But the guy to follow Debo,
It's that guy.
You get some
that
grace.
guy.
Yeah.
It's
That's
that
the
guy.
guy.
Which I only the guy I would say is it can't be is Dabo Sweeney. That's the only guy I would
Right.
say
Yeah.
his Bama coach is Dabo Sweeney and what he is
Right.
when it comes to just being anti 2025 football. And
Because he
but I
can't get
think another name that we haven't talked about yet is Lincoln Riley. I
I've
remember
heard
Lincoln Riley
the
for a little while. I was like, man, I've certainly heard his names, and I think so many coaches are waiting for their conference championship.
Mm-hmm.
So many teams are in play of their conference championship. Where if
Mm-hmm.
I get there and I lose, and that's my third loss or my second loss, and I miss the playoffs, I'm out of here.
Right.
I'm in this coaching carousel. I'm in it before a lot of these big name schools that are national championship title schools are able to do, except Lane Kiffin,
Right.
or he might dip out before the playoffs even start.
Right. Hey, it's crazy. I mean, the reason why we're where we are right now is because so many coaches have gotten fired mid-season.
So early. Yeah, so early.
Yeah.
This stuff usually happens after the season when everybody's done and you wait on a couple of coaches to finish up to make a few phone calls to see if they're interested. You know what I'm saying? But this shit happened week 6, you know? So it's like you can't make these phone calls right now because these guys are focused on the jobs that they currently have. But I truly believe, and listen, I still think USC is a really, really, really good job. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like Pete Carroll and Snoop them didn't make USC a good job. USC's always been a good job because of location and this and that, whatever the case may be.
But the issue with USC is recruiting the East Coast.
Yeah, you can't. Yeah, it's
you,
hard.
you might get 3-4 of them on your team, but
man, look, I'll be the first one to tell you. We know a family right now that's at the high school that we at right now, and they have a 4-star wide receiver who's getting calls from everybody. He's committed to Ole Miss right now because his parents want him to stay like within like a 5-hour radius. That shit is real.
right.
That's real. That's real. You know what I'm saying? Like, cause I mean, or he got an offer from Oregon, he got an offer from Hawaii, he got an offer from everywhere, Miami, all that. But if his parents, they don't like to fly.
Yeah.
If they can't drive 5 hours, he's not going there.
But it was much more common to see a guy from the West Coast go to an East Coast school and stay versus an East Coast guy going to a West Coast school and saying, I'm only here for business. And really about that business, which a lot of West Coast schools have not been for 5 to 7 years. I mean, we're not really in that match. So I get USC and I get that I think that's a school that if I'm trying to be there for 10 plus years, then Lincoln Riley should stay exactly where he's at. But if Lincoln Riley, I think he has that itch to get to a big time school somewhere and win big. I think he is going to jump ship sooner or later just because it's tough to do it the way he wants to do it out west.
Yes.
Lincoln Riley wants to have a true offensively led team with a true dynamic quarterback at his realm, and he's done it before. It's going to take getting back to that type of Oklahoma, that type of South realm to get that guy come back to your school again. Because, I mean, that's truly what it is. Even guys like Lane Kiffin are struggling recruiting 5-star quarterbacks right now. I mean,
well, I was shocked as hell when I found out that Lincoln Riley was leaving Oklahoma to go to USC. I mean, at that point in time, the jobs were equal. But I'm like, why are you doing that? Because y'all are kind of equal. It wasn't a.
Yeah.
I think Lincoln Riley was in position to get a better job, if you will. At that time, Oklahoma was still in the Big 12. So,
I think Lincoln Riley's scared of the SEC.
he
I
may
think that's
be.
what it was
That's
too.
He been dancing around the whole
him for
time.
a long time because he was right there in the middle of that deal when Oklahoma was going to the SEC and said, you know what,
I left.
get out while I can.
Right.
Yep.
He's like, you know what, guys like Shark who was like, you know what, let me stay in it and to go into the SEC because that's where I want to be at. They're
Yep.
proving themselves, and I'm like, to me, even when not winning the big game, going through certain gauntlets you go through in the SEC just mean more to me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Truly
It
mean,
holds more weight.
yeah. So to me, I think Lincoln Riley took that route to get away from something. I'm just waiting for that coach to come in this role to be like, you know what, I'm trying to get a piece of that. I'm trying to get a piece
Mm.
of the SEC. I'm trying to do something big in the SEC, and I want to do a game changer. And I don't think the coach for LSU is actually coaching right now. I think he is somewhere that is going to be a guy that's going to come from watching, being in the media somewhere, and it's going to be a guy that's going to
Mm.
try to bring a lot of attention to that school in aspects of portal.
You
And
think Urban Meyer got 3 years in it? You think
Well,
Urban got 3 years in him?
I think Urban Meyer could be a guy like that.
you
Man,
know what's interesting? An interesting name out there, John Gruden. I know a
man,
lot of people
hey,
not looking at him like that, but he's the one that's been preaching the most in the media, saying, "Yeah, I'm ready to start coaching again." I
hey,
know
2 years
Ed
ago,
Ogeron is talking about. Well, he's in discussions with Arkansas right now to take that job, which I think would be a good fit for him. Um, but yeah, John Gruden is somebody out there I'm looking at like I don't know how much you're loud, you're going to attract a lot of players, how good of a job you would do. I don't know about
But
that.
see, but you ain't got to be great at LSU. You ain't got to be a great coach at LSU. You got
Yeah.
you got to be a good figurehead. You know, you do got to be able to be the man on the top of the ship. That's the puppet master now. But
what does LSU need? LSU needs its physicality back.
yeah,
Uh,
They need true trench football, and John Gruden can deliver that.
he can.
It's not a lot of guys that can go in there and deliver what that type of coach needs, but it was almost what Georgia needed when they was looking at Kirby Smart. Like we need
yeah.
somebody to truly build that, bring that dog back in the Bulldogs. Like, and
Right.
that's what LSU needs. Somebody to bring that true dominance back to what LSU was built off of back in like the 2010 to 2017, 19 range of just like this is
Mm,
gonna be a force week in and week out. Like we gotta really play LSU,
yeah.
regardless if LSU is coming to play or not. Because LSU's always feel like they've been the ones to trip themselves up. But I don't know who it's gonna be for LSU, but I'm hoping it's Kiffin. If my prediction's right, it's gonna be Kiffin. I'm just like if that came across my desk, I would be
He'll
hard.
win. He'll win at least 3 national championships if he stays there at least 10 years.
Yeah, and that's the
Hmm.
big if. If
You know
you
what I'm
say
saying? I mean, he'll win
my
3 if
thing
he never.
is, what is 10 years at Ole Miss?
He won't win one.
I would be shocked if he wins one.
Right.
Yeah.
He won't win
Yeah.
one.
I'd be shocked if he wins one with Chambliss, Trinidad Chambliss. That's probably the best quarterback all around he's had in a while. I think he's better than Jackson Dart.
Yeah.
I would go back maybe probably his tenure at Ole Miss. I've not really just seen like just a true dual threat. Just I could throw for 300 and I could run for 150.
Hmm.
If you can't win a national championship with that type of dual threat at your helm, I don't know what type of quarterback we're going to see from Lane Kiffin. I've just seen him with all types, and as it goes back to what you had at
I just feel like with him at Ole Miss right now, you kind of reached your ceiling of what that program can be, kind of like what's happened right now with I'm not going to compare it quote unquote with Clemson, but I think Clemson is as good as they're going to be for the foreseeable future until Dabble decides to change. But I don't think there's much more of a ceiling. You're looking at a team in Ole Miss that you'll be in the discussion every other year. You'll get in probably every other year, but will you ever make a run in the playoffs to go do something? I don't know if I see that happening at Ole Miss. Now LSU, you got all the funds and the material and the resources. They invest much more into their football program than a lot of these other places do. And I think that's the biggest point right now if you're taking any of these head coaching jobs is you got to look back and see, hey, what room do I have to play with? What funding am I getting for
Mhm.
assistant coaches? How much support from university am I getting? Like how big of a deal is that going forward?
Yeah, and I'm also looking at schedules going forward. I don't
Oh
know
yeah.
anything about Florida, but Florida's always got the most rivals, and it's like a Tennessee team. Like their SEC rival is so many teams that their schedule is always the toughest.
Crazy.
It's always
Mm.
going to be tough, and I feel like Lane Kiffin needs he needs the easiest schedule possible to get to where it's in the road. And I just want to see him in the playoffs. That's what I want to see. I want to see him this year if he gets to the playoffs and what that would look like. I feel like that's what he's debating on. He's like, let me just make sure all my ducks in a row, whether I go any three options. Let me make sure LSU's happy. My family visited. Florida's happy. My family visited. Ole Miss, y'all happy? I'm gonna get y'all to the playoffs, and I'm gonna see what y'all take me on. And that all that ultimatum stuff for him is just crazy to me. I'm like,
Yeah, it's just the
man,
drama that comes
y'all
with
throw
him.
somebody like that ultimatum, he gonna choose the other way. Like he just like you said, Sean, his behavior is just, I'm gonna go rogue one way or another.
One way or the other, this dude right here is capable of anything because of what we've seen in the past. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
who knows? But he go to LSU. If I was LSU, I'd be backing that dadgum Brinks truck up to his back door
Oh
right
yeah,
now.
because he's gonna be able to go. He's gonna be able to put LSU right exactly where Ole Miss is today.
Everything he's doing
From
right
day
now.
one.
Day
Yeah,
one.
exactly. I mean, like he wouldn't even have to go down to where he found Chambliss to find that guy.
Nope. You'll have
And,
your pick.
you
You'd
know what
have
I'm
your
saying?
pick.
Right. You got your pick. You know what I'm saying? You got your pick. You go get whatever you want.
That's what he's got to do because I don't know what it is about certain schools. And Sean, you might know having a quarterback as a son, like why certain quarterbacks just love to go certain schools, like these big name guys. And big name guys want to go to LSU. They want to go to LSU to compete. They want to go to Ohio State to compete. They want to go to
Because they
UNC
have
to
receivers.
compete. It's just
Because they always have receivers.
right. It's just certain schools that just always get these big name quarterbacks, and Ole Miss just
Yeah.
not one. They get transfers. They get guys that were,
Mm-hmm.
you know, the 4 stars, the super,
Mm-hmm.
the 3 star that got in trouble somewhere, whatever it is that just
Mm-hmm.
can't
Right.
get that big guy. And I want to see Lane Kiffin with what was Tua back in the day. What was
Yeah.
as it just were just
It
true.
would show out.
Whatever you call on your play sheet, I'm gonna throw it to the T and just see where that leads him. And
Look,
he's got the best shot with the quarterback he's working with right now. But if that quarterback don't work, the biggest two options I've heard for him is LSU in the pros, which I don't think he'll work in the pros again, except for with
no.
Jackson Dart. But it's
Yeah. No.
interesting thought what he would think of.
Yeah, no, it really is. And like I said, you bring up a lot of good points, and he's doing a whole lot more with less. I think from a play calling perspective, I think he's fantastic. He's proving that he can run an organization. And those are things that John Gruden honestly can't give you. You know what I'm saying? Like Lane's doing it right now. Gruden's been out of the game for a long time. You know what I'm saying? All you're finna get from Gruden is that 99 waggle right, turn left, XY dig, turn right, left, go. You know what I'm saying? You finna get a whole lot of that when you bring Gruden in. I mean, I get it, you know what I'm saying? But he gonna complicate your goddamn quarterback so bad, it ain't gonna make no sense. Lane Kiffin is
But that's one thing I really want to know though. I really want to know the depths, and I gotta do some research on this. Is the guys that really you think are the NFL, the football geniuses? Why aren't they having success with teaching the game to other people? How long will it take Bill Belichick to get North Carolina to really learn how he's
what's
doing?
that curve like? That
Yeah,
learning
what
curve.
is that learning curve be like to go with a John Gruden that's gonna have? I was watching an interview between John Gruden and Andrew Luck, and they're like pre-draft workout, and they're pre-draft just throwing football back and forth when they win. And I'm like, most guys are not gonna understand that level of football until they're deep in their 20s.
Right.
It's just like a comprehension level. So I do want to know, could a John Gruden go as low as getting there with 18, 19, 20-year olds
I
and
don't think it
Make
breaking
it
works.
click.
it down
I
to
think
where
it's
it
a
really
completely
gets
different ball game. I really do, from an offensive standpoint. And that's why my biggest gripe with what South Carolina's been preaching on is wanting to have a NFL style offense. It doesn't work in college. College is a completely different game than the NFL is from all the position standpoints. And I think it complicates it a lot too much. Once you complicate it, you're done for. You're out of there. So
And see, and look now, okay, I'm gonna go a completely different direction here. I know we're about to run over, but this is where spring football comes in and makes a difference, right? For that guy that's kind of there, but he ain't all the way there yet. You go to spring football, you get that longer cadence. Because I've heard, Drew, you asked the question about the quarterbacks. The problem is understanding comprehension. At the quarterback position, it's not ability. Because once you get to that point and you are a senior in college or a fifth-year senior or a 25-year-old senior, you can throw the football just as well as Aaron Rodgers can. Y'all can make the same throws. Now, the difference is What's the environment like around you while you're making that throw? You know what I'm saying? That's the difference. And that's where the coach and all these things come in. But when you get to that level, everybody is there. You know what I'm saying? I see it when Harrison's training all the time. I mean, these kids are all throwing the same balls. I'm looking at, okay, who's your coach? Who are your receivers? What's your offensive line look like? There's a lot of all the extra external factors that could go in and make an Aaron Rodgers look like dirt if you give him a trash offensive line. You know what I'm saying? So it's so crazy to me that I'm even embarking getting into this whole thing with my kid. I can only imagine what folks are doing right now that's in it right now. But there's so much stuff that goes into this, man. And position to position, quarterback, wide receiver, offensive line, defensive line, every single position is affected in this way. And you got to find yourself in the right situation with the right coaching staff, with the right position coordinator, at the right school with the right academic standard. I mean, there's so much, man. I can only imagine what's going on in these kids' minds right now.
And probably getting overwhelmed, and then man, you get to a point where you get away from the guys like Ty Simpson and the guy that's been there for so long, that's been
right.
waiting 3 to 4 years to get that starting role. Because I mean, Van, you can speak a little bit more of this. I've even heard the rumors about Sellers being looking at the transfer portal and what that might look for him and stuff like that. And I look at Beck from Miami looking at hopping back in the portal again. And another one I've heard is Dylan Raiola from Nebraska. Him and his brother are trying to look at going to a different school and just trying to get to a different height. And then you want to look at it all depends on how the season's going to end for Bryce Underwood at Michigan. He's got a couple rumors about what the portal could look like from these guys. And if we got 10 guys that we thought were going to be solid figures, two of them are probably going to make that jump. Two of them are going to be like, you know what? This pressure of being this guy at this school is probably not going to be best
Well,
for
you already seen one. You seen Arizona State guy already said his agent has already put his name out there saying, "Hey, he's
Yeah, and I
out."
heard they put him out there big. I meant to mention him, and I meant to mention Nussmeier from LSU. Like a lot of these guys just all just not gonna say that, you know what, I'm not going to the pros, but I'm going to a different school just to use that 5th year and see what's gonna happen for me and my
Yeah.
ability. Because if I get with that right head coach, to your point, Sean, if I get with that right program, I could jump and go from like that. I think, well, what was Cam Ward before he went to
Joe
Miami?
Burrow.
Joe Burrow, but yeah, Joe
Yeah.
Burrow is a huge one. But
Yeah.
I would say Joe Burrow is huge, but he was a little bit different because people truly forget about that first season with LSU. That I got to learn what the SEC is about season.
Right.
And that last season he went really
You
berserk.
figured it out. Yeah.
But I
Yeah.
want to say like
You're right. Cam though, a great example.
but Cam Ward, and I would say Bo Nix when he went up there to Oregon. Just
Story.
I went used all my eligibility and got it done. And I think
Yeah.
that's the realm of I've been around so much football. The last guy I'm with, I understand him the most.
Mm-hmm.
I
So I've been
like
around football for high level football for 4 to 5 years. And man, that right there, that really means a lot for a quarterback. And what you see in the guys like that when the transition to the NFL is, if I get with the right NFL program, I can comprehend what they're trying to get on the field easier because it's way more in depth, way more checks and way more audibles and stuff like that too. But
yeah.
it's so deep with these quarterbacks, man. It's so deep with these coaches. You wonder why a lot of these quarterbacks are just not panned out this season and what it could really be. I don't know
Yeah.
if this
I
is
think
getting better or what it could be, but there's a lot.
Yeah, it's a lot of factors. And as for the transfer portal, I think it's only a couple names that the guy that I talked to that's in the know down, so on and so forth, is a couple of them. As far as sellers, I think it's Pro or Carolina. You got to think this is a guy who turned down 8 mil last offseason to leave when he's making, you turn down an extra four. He's a family strong guy, loves the Carolinas, loves Shane Beamer, wants to play with his brother who's here now as a wide receiver. I think it's all of those factors are into it. He's not looking for like, oh, I need the bag or need the payday to go somewhere else.
Right.
I understand it could help his stock. Now, a name that's floated around a little bit is to go back in the portal again is Nico.
Oh Lord.
Get down
I can believe that though. I can believe it.
as far as getting to.
I think that's always been the goal. I think
Yeah, I think the name has floated around a lot of circles out there. Is that one? I think Beck is pro bound. Um, as far as the NFL. I think
Yeah,
you look
Beck's
at because in the thing that helped him out was a lot of the top quarterbacks suffered this season. So they're all coming back to school, which means if you're one of these older guys that had a somewhat decent year and your name's already out there, like a Carson Beck, why not go while the iron's hot and you don't really have all
Right.
these guys to compete with? Because guess what? After this year, these other guys have to go. Sellers has to leave after next season if he doesn't go this year. You look at so many people that were talked about this year are definites for next year if they come back to school. Why not go ahead and get your name in there? I think the Indiana's quarterback has already floated around out there. He wants to go.
Oh, he number one.
Yeah, you think so?
They say he number one. You know what
Yeah,
I'm saying?
I think him or Oregon, Dante Moore,
I've
and
heard he's coming back.
I
I've
heard
heard his
Bama
name
Todd
is
Simpson.
like
I
he's coming
think
back to
those
Oregon.
three, no matter what, gotta go.
Yeah,
Right. Gotta go.
Because it's to me, my thing is coming back means you gotta put on better film. There's
Yes.
only, to me, Oregon's quarterback only has so much more he can get better at.
right. I
Mendoza only
think
has so much more he can get better at. And Todd Simpson, to me, only has so much more he can get better at. Like,
Not much.
I think Ty is number one in my book right now, just from a skill. I think he's better than the Indiana quarterback. Um, but I think Dante Moore, I think his is gonna be classified as how deep of a playoff run do they go on. If he
yeah.
gets close to the national championship, I think he leaves. But if it's a first round, oh, we lost and we got bounced, then you get that itch to say, hey, if I run it back, can we make a deeper run into the playoffs? I think there'll be money involved, of course, from Oregon. But I mean, Oregon's a school that'll never have to even question the money
The
to
money.
get a guy or anything like that.
I think Beck has to stay because I think he has to show improvement. I think these last two seasons have just exposed
It's been
him.
copy and paste. It's the
Yeah,
same thing that he did at
I'm
Georgia.
just saying that we've seen it and we've seen it again. And I'd be damned if I drafted early first 3 rounds.
He is who Carson Beck is what we see.
Right. I don't know how much
Period.
better you can get.
It's
Period.
Jameis Winston.
Right.
Yeah.
That's it.
I got the arm, I got the arm talent, but I get fooled.
That's
The
it.
defense can roll the covers down, and I'm gonna throw a pick, and I'm gonna
That's
put the team in a hole, and that's what's gonna happen. I got all this arm talent, but the reason why Van I would put Mendoza for Indiana over Ty as number really 1 and 2 is just because of arm strength.
Yeah, that's the
Mm.
throw.
I think when he steps up in that pocket and then he rips that ball, man, that ball is moving.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't see, and I'm not knocking Ty Simpson here, but I don't see him with that Josh Allen with that type of zip on his ball. Man, he throws a pro ball, but Mendoza throws that Josh Allen ball where
Yeah,
it's kind of
he
like,
throws
man,
that ball that zip. He
it's
throws
just
that
different.
ball with true arm strength, and that's what you want to say is if I can get that guy who has that type of arm strength to understand the level of football that I need him to be, that ball's gonna get there 100% of the time on time. And I feel like Ty, even if he gets drafted first round, I would pray that he gets 6 to 7 weeks to sit down and
For
learn it. I
real.
want to see him week 1 as a starter, and
Yeah.
that's just what I've seen just over the years of him how he's gotten better. So I think when you think of the quarterback realm of it, I know we've gone from coaches to rankings to quarterback realm. It's just like, you know what? It's crazy to think of what this year's draft was supposed to be. It was supposed to be like 8 solid quarterbacks. You think of Klubnik even from Clemson, like
Yeah.
supposed to be so many Lagway from Florida. There's just so many guys that you're just gonna say, yeah, y'all gotta find a way. I don't even know if they got it in them to get another year eligibility, but beg the committee, beg the NCAA for a fifth year to get some good film on the board, just because the quarterback and the offense has just not been there. And I think that's why we're waiting for to put it all together. That school that just says that, you know what, this is a national championship team. We might have been seeing it all year. We just don't believe in Ohio State, but that's just what we're looking for. And just saying, what is the complete overall when it comes to coaching staff, quarterback, play calling, and just play on the field? Just say, you know what, this team is above the rest. And we haven't seen it all together yet.
Well, and no, like I said, I know we're wrapping up, but this is my parting shot right here. Remember when Alabama was, I think they won 2 chips. This is after the year they beat Notre Dame really bad in Miami. Came back and was supposed to three-peat. And that's when Carolina beat them with your boy Garcia and Lattimore and whatever. And they lost like 3 games that season. It was a bad year, but it was supposed to be it was his best, it was Saban's best team. You know what I'm saying? Um, I don't I don't necessarily know if we're there anymore in college football because the parity is almost it's not really there because we're not holding on to the same team that you had from freshman to sophomore and junior, senior, whatever. But uh, the team that or the coaching staff that has the ability to closely resembles something that looks like that. Maybe it's even keeping a core group together. You know that we ain't trying to keep the whole team together, but you keep your quarterback, the center, a safety, and a wide receiver and a tight end. Keep these certain kind of like what Kansas City has been doing over the years in the pros is keeping the core together. Thinking about this game almost like you're thinking about it as an NFL situation could potentially be the difference in what coaching staff ends up being a dynasty in this new world of college football we're talking about, as opposed to the old one. I think there's some elements of old school that have to remain, but you got to keep some core pieces together. And as long as your quarterback is moving around, man, you're going to struggle.
Yeah. Which, to answer your question on just the only thing we've got in those two realms is Georgia and Ohio State.
That's it.
They can really say, you know what, our big core pieces aren't leaving in the portal. And I mean, I think I'm still a stickler on quarterback play. That is my number one thing to watch when it comes to football is watching what your quarterback can do on the field. And I thought when Bama hooked Julian Sayon that, you know what, the future is bright with this kid. I think the same thing with Keelan Russell and just saying, you know what, we can put that guy in this team and he's gonna just make it work.
Mm-hmm.
I'm waiting for that for Ty Simpson to say, oh, you know what is the X factor for you? And just say, you know what, I got this. Put the team on my back. I'm going to get the job done. And that's what's going to really be the guy that has to be there long term to get these other pieces to me to stay long term because that's literally your team. If Julian Sand says, you know what, I'm coming back for another year, think of the other guys gonna come back for another year. Seniors are probably gonna be like, you know what, I got a red shirt season, I can come back for another year because of this is the guy that's gonna lead this team to the playoff run. And
right,
this week is gonna be a dull week when it comes to football. We got Oklahoma, Missouri is just all only pretty much big SEC game is going on. And I think that's gonna be a wash. But after this, man, we get into that true part of the last couple of weeks going into Thanksgiving and going to that first week of December when it comes to real football, man. There's going to be a lot to talk about, a lot on the table, and a lot of big time showdowns. You ain't in this position where you can fold again. And as we saw last week against Bama, Bama had to be the team. A lot of teams were upset alert, but Bama was one that fell cold-heartedly to Oklahoma, and we saw what that's going to do to their season. It makes you a must win at this point in the season.
Mm-hmm.
And we're gonna see. Y'all got anything else to close out on?
I'm done, man. I'm
Good,
good.
good, yeah. Well, hey, appreciate everybody tuning in. Leave a comment, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button. Follow back next week. We got rivalry week up next, and then after that, conference championship. So we got a good little run getting ready to take off right here. So until then, we will see y'all.